Hey guys, I'm continuing my Hike 100 challenge again today on the North Country Trail, and I'm at Upper St. Croix Lake in Solon Springs, and this is the headwaters to the Brule River and the St. Croix National Scenic Riverway. And it's interesting because the Continental Divide goes through the lake, so water on that end of the lake feeds the St. Croix, which feeds the Mississippi and eventually down to the Gulf of Mexico. And then on this end of the lake feeds the Brule River, which drains into Lake Superior and eventually Hudson Bay. So early settlers and fur traders, missionaries, they would use the waterway to travel upstream on the Brule as far as they could, and then they'd take this historic Portage Trail, which is what I'm hiking today, to the head of the lake here, and then continue downstream on the St. Croix and sell their goods, you know, along the Mississippi. And there's an island, Crown Heart Island here. The first written settlement is of a Chippewa village on Crown Heart Island, so they'd stop there and sell all their goods. But I'll be taking the same trail these early settlers and stuff traveled hundreds of years ago. Really interesting. But anyway, the trailhead's just up here a little bit, and there's a nice artesian well. I'm going to top off on the water before I hit the trail. So I'm at the trailhead now. You can see the lake behind me. Got my phone. I got the miles rolling here. And we're off. So I just crossed County Road A here. You can see the trail back in there in the lake. Just a short distance to the trailhead. Got this monument here. Brule St. Croix Portage. Indians, voyagers, explorers, missionaries, traders, and pioneers traveled this path from the waters of the Great Lakes to those of the Mississippi. To all those who pass this way, the trail is dedicated. So my last video, I was on the Boardwalk, the Brule Bog Boardwalk, which is down that way. We're going to continue up this way now through the historic Portage Trail. As soon as I jump on the trail, I find some chaga. Yeah, score. So they got these plaques in recognition of all the early travelers here on the trail. And this name might look a little familiar. The city of Duluth, Minnesota was named after him. It's Daniel Gracelyn Sear Duluth, 1680. Duluth wrote he entered the river where he cut down some trees and broke through about 100 beaver dams before making his way to the Portage. Duluth's mission was to prepare the way for French fur trade by making peace with the Indians and exploring new trade routes. Pierre Le Sueur, 1693. It was with the view of keeping open one of Duluth's old routes, the Boise Brule and the St. Croix rivers, that Le Sueur was dispatched by the authorities of New France. He built a stockade on Madeline Island for guarding the northern approach, and another on an island in the Mississippi near the town of Red Wing, Minnesota. Jonathan Carver, 1768. An English mapmaker, Carver was interested in finding the Northwest Passage to the Pacific Ocean. Returning to England, he published a book and maps, which contain ample imagination along with maps and stories of the New World. Michael Kuril, 1803. There was good news and bad news about Kuril. The good news was he wrote about his journey up the Brule River and down the St. Croix in great detail. The bad news was Kuril was evidently not cut out for the life of a fur trader. He was often outfoxed in deals with the natives and met an early death about a year later. JeanBaptiste Gadot, 1819. Gadot was one of two highly skilled woodsman brothers active in the fur trade at this time. Sons of a French fur trade father and an Indian mother, the boys also had a reputation for their troubles with alcohol. Henry Schoolcraft, 1820. Credited with discovering the source of the Mississippi River, Schoolcraft was returning east after his discovery in 1832 when he traveled this portage. Lieutenant Allen and a party of U.S. soldiers traveling with Schoolcraft made the earliest note of seeing trout in the Brule River. The 1820 date shown on the boulder was probably reference to a stopover Schoolcraft made at the mouth of the Brule 12 months earlier. Definitely tell is a well-traveled trail. Hundreds of years of people traveling on it. Nice bench here. I've just been following the Brule River Valley, and there's a nice view here. A place to take it in. George Stunts, 1852, a noted early frontiersman and government surveyor in the western Lake Superior region. Stunts was one of the first settlers of Duluth and Superior, and published articles on the feasibility of connecting St. Croix and Lake Superior waters. His monument here was lost for several decades and finally located at the foot of a slope. It was returned to this approximate original location in April of 2009. Nicholas Jr. and Joseph Lucius, 1886. These notable longtime residents of Solon Springs were among the last to utilize this trail for transportation. Shortly thereafter, the first overland roads were built in this area and the trail was abandoned. Joseph was also well known for his ability in building cabins and canoes for residents of the Brule River. So I've reached the end of the Portage Trail. I can go down there and check out 75 yards, or I can continue on. I think I'm going to go check it out. So this is the mouth of the Brule. Well, it's not the mouth of it, but this is the end of the Portage. So they would take their canoes upstream here, get to about this point, and then have to take the Portage about 2 miles, a little over 2 miles to the head of St. Croix. Oh, there's a couple eagles up there now. I like this boardwalk they put in though. It's nice. Hopefully we'll come across the eagles. We're heading that way, so might get a closer look at them. That'd be cool. This is kind of a long stretch here. Tell you what, if you need water, make sure you fill up on either end, either Jersette Creek or Sweet Rebecca Creek. Pretty long stretch with no break from the sun. It must have been logged at some point, but here we are. Steep switchback coming up the hill here. I'm at Jersette Creek Campsite. Tell you what, a lot of blowdown from these past storms in July, but it's kind of opened it up, gave us another view here. We're just past Jersette Creek Campsite, but heading towards Highland. But a nice area if you want a different perspective of the river valley. You can go down Stone Chimney Road. There's a nice set of stairs that go all the way down to the Brule. Kind of a nice area. Some plaques and stuff explaining the geology and about the glaciers. That's what I like to see. I was getting worried all the blowdown back there. There's still a lot of huge pine trees in here. Look at that baby. I thought for sure this one would be down. I'm at the Highland Town Hall now, County Road S. So it looks like I have a little less miles than I thought, 5.7 miles left. No sweat, I was getting a little concerned, losing daylight fast. And just passing the Highland Campsite now.
Duration 2 hours 30 minutes 6 seconds. Elevation 1,303 feet. Distance 8 miles.
Looks like we got about 2 more miles this way. Walking along Moats Ravine now. Got the nice bench here. Whoever placed these sure were accurate. It's like right when you think, boy, I could use a little break, there's a bench. Strategically placed. I haven't gotten much footage between Highland and here. I want to make some miles, losing the light. See, there's still a little bit of color on the birch trees over there. Most of the leaves have fallen though. Well, we're getting close to the parking area here. I can hear traffic on Highway 27. Yep, I see the parking sign, so just in time. I don't know if you can tell, the sun's dropping below the tree line. So from this point, my next video, I'm going to skip over a couple sections here. The wilderness sections. I did do that stretch of trail a couple years ago. I'll put a card up in the corner here if you want to check it out. It's a week in the wilderness. But I wanted to finish this Hike 100 challenge kind of the same way I started off on the newest section of trail. The Macquarie Wetlands is where I started, and they just finished a new 8-mile stretch in Copper Falls. So my previous 2 videos, I was on the Superior hiking trail, and that's part of the North Country Trail, so those miles count towards the Hike 100 challenge. And I figure if I do about 13 miles through the trail town of Mellon and Copper Falls, that should put me around 100. We'll stop it, see what we got. .6 miles. It's the first time I used the new app on this phone. So 13.6, we'll add that to the total, and probably got about the same left on the next hike to complete the challenge. Right, here's where I started right here. Came up this way, stopped at Jersette Creek, and crossed County Road S, town of Highland, continued up, and here I am. I'm just driving home now. This is the Brule River you seen me cross earlier in the hike, and I'm just on County Road P here. Beautiful sunset. I'm gonna race over to the spring, see if I can get a shot of there where I started this trip to.